So there's many wonderful things about America. It's why the Bible describes it as having two lamb-like principles. There were good things about it, but unfortunately, it has the dragon element to it that ultimately ends in it uniting this world in some adoration of worship towards the papacy. And we haven't looked at that yet, but just extrapolating from what we see in these Revelation 13 verses that we've looked at. So now we're starting to get a pretty good idea of who our threefold union is. All of them are powers bigger than any one normal human individual. They're kingdoms in the form of the papacy and the United States, with the other entity being Satan himself, which in the next episode, when we look at the miracles, we're going to look at his role in all this, as he plays a very prominent, very visible role in this final deception. But in order to, again, look at the main driver of who is behind this plan, let's go back and understand what the dragon's looking for in this whole thing. We know the players. We know they're teaming up. We see that the first and second beast, or the beast and the false prophet, are teaming up to do all this stuff. But what does Satan really want? Let's go back and look at his interaction with Jesus during the temptation that he had in the wilderness in Matthew chapter 4, verses 8 and 9. So in Matthew chapter 4, verses 8 and 9, we're going to see the end game for Satan. And we're going to have to keep this rooted in the back of our minds, because there's going to be a lot of winds of strange doctrines flying around trying to confuse us, because that's what Satan's goal is to confuse us and to create the conditions where we can't tell the real from the fake. But if we're rooted in what he wants, and we know what he wants, and we know his methods and tactics, well, by God's grace, we might be able to help ourselves and help others get through this deception that's coming. So Matthew 4, verse 8, again, the devil taketh him into an exceeding high mountain, and showeth him all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them. And he saith unto him, all these things will I give thee, if thou wilt fall down and worship me. So what does Satan want more than anything?
He wants worship. And this is really important to understand, is the end goal. Because we have this threefold union, we know what they're doing, but is, like many people talk about the New World Order, all these secret societies, but they don't understand the whole purpose and the point of why everything is going down. It's not just money. It's not just because they have a power trip. It is actually because they're actuated by that dragon, the serpent, Satan, and they actually are searching for, and he's searching for, worship for himself over God. And this is the whole theme throughout the whole Bible, him saying that God's a liar from the beginning, and going to the end, trying to prove his point that he's the one who actually deserves worship and homage. And that is actually the punchline. As crazy as that might sound, for the whole New World Order structure is actually the worship of Satan.
Yes. And the people who are part of this system, they may be after power and money, but in the most, short-sighted vision of that, because Satan doesn't care. He's actually he doesn't want just like casual worship either. He's not looking for you to worship him through nature. He's not looking for you to worship him through other things. Here he is standing with Christ. And there's some people that say like Satan doesn't exist as an actual entity, as real as you or I. Well, then who's Christ interacting with? Who's asking him direct questions to do these things? Like, he's a very real entity. And I'd say the greatest trick the devil ever pulled for an individual heart and mind is to make you think he didn't exist. He does exist. He interacted with Jesus. Not only did he tell him that he could give him all the kingdoms of the world, but he says, I'll give them all to you. Because some people think his goal is to just take this world, but it is in a sense, but the real goal behind even having the kingdoms of this world, his object is just worship. He's like, Jesus, I'll give you the things that Adam gave me when he fell, because that's when Satan took authority as king of this world, ruler of the the earth, so to speak. But he's saying, I'll give you that because I don't even really care about it. What I want is your worship.